Mano, eu fui pesquisar um problema que eu estava a ter com o Flag Explorer era soldado, quando tinha muitas vídeos com thumbnails e assim, né? E ele diz-me a solução é running too many PC programs simultaneously could affect your file explorer speed. In fact, it could affect the speed of your whole computer. Eu tipo, wow, thank you, tipo, não é isso que eu quero. Tipo, estava a mandar não ter vindo com as orelhas ao mesmo tempo, tipo, obrigado. Yeah. A gente também só volta para trás assim, se preciso, tipo. Não está a ser baited. Shot. Okay. Mm. Hmm. Sim, sim, já acabou as 10.
reacting and doing a breakdown of the brand new tool assisted speedrun that was just released for Twilight Princess All Dungeons. This run is over 30 minutes faster than the fastest human run, and it took over 4 years to be created. So I really hope you enjoyed, and please don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel because you're nearly 200,000 subscribers. I really appreciate the support. Thank you so much, and enjoy the video. The run has been started. I'm assuming this is going to be very similar to how a normal run, I should say, would be. I guess quick little rundown. A TAS stands for Tool Assisted Speedrun. It basically means that this run was done with multiple tools to help it out to be what is considered to be basically a perfect run. So that means save states, it means slowdowns, and it also means repeating the same thing over and over again to get the perfect luck and execution of all tricks. There's definitely going to be some things that are similar to what you would see in a normal RK run, meaning like when a human does a run. But there's also going to be some tricks that are going to be tool assist only, so like it's too difficult for a human to do. Right here, I do know this trick. So this is a glitch known as back in time. Basically, by voiding out and performing a soft reset on the exact same frame, you will respawn onto the title screen, but you will have control over Link, which you usually wouldn't have. You then void out again to get rid of the logo, so you can click on pause and save the game. And this will transfer over everything that Link had unlocked on the title screen onto your save file. So that would include things such as your tunic, your sword, your shield, and Epona is also unlocked. But yeah, so in case anyone was wondering, yes, this tool-assisted speedrun took literally 4 years to make. That's right, 4 years and over 200,000 re-recordings. That is how passionate people are about these speedruns of these old games. So far, this is very similar to like a normal 90% run by a human. Okay, maybe I wouldn't be spinning around the camera like this, you know? So far, this is pretty much like a normal run that you would imagine. You basically do back in time to get everything. You get the key to get access to this gate, and you go up and you rescue this girl. There's not too much, like, for people that know Twilight Princess well, you will know that even though Twilight Princess is one of the best games of all time, don't at me, it's true, early game is quite slow in this game. Early game just stinks. Thankfully, because you can do the back in time glitch, you can speed it up significantly, but you are still sort of limited, you know? Alright, let's see how well the task does Goats. Goats is awful. If anyone has ever done Goats, you will know that they do not want to go in. They do not want to go in at all. Okay, a quick little thing I just want to mention. If you just go back, here's a good example of a tool-assisted speedrun. Basically spending hours just manipulating something like this. You probably might have missed it on your first watch. These goats are running to the right. Do you see how these goats are angled in such a perfect way to where they are pushing these goats? So these goats haven't even started running yet. So when this goat decides, oh, I'm gonna run, it has already been pushed all the way there to perfectly align it. That's the sort of like precision that is done in these tool-assisted speedruns. I'm assuming that with Wolf Link, we're gonna see a good amount of movement in relation to something known as brake sliding. Brake sliding is really, really cool. If they start doing it, I'll try and explain roughly how it works, but it's a really cool movement trick that you see often runners do. Right there is actually a small text/cutscene skip. By the way, usually you jump down and Midna literally bullets you and goes, hey dummy, don't fall down, just use me by pressing the Z button and I'll show you the way. But if you jump in a very precise angle, you can break the rocks to activate the prompt to do the jump, but you skip that text prompt with Midna telling you about it. Oh, that's so cool. The jumping animation up on that ledge is longer. So instead of doing the climbing up animation, which say it like takes like 2 seconds, he does 2 dashes on the side of those mini rocks to skip it. I love those small optimizations. That's so cool. Like, I don't know if like as a casual, you might like notice the small like movement optimizations everywhere, but there is so much going on. But before we get further into this task, a quick word from today's sponsor. That is so fast. Okay, let me just quickly try and explain what happened there, okay? Imagine that you have like the portal here, right? So this is the portal that takes you into the Twilight Realm. So here's the ground, and here's the portal, right? The game doesn't want you to enter this portal until you've obtained a very specific sword and shield. You might be wondering, well, we already have it. No, because the game only looks for the wooden one, so it doesn't think that we have gotten the sword and shield like you should. So what the game developers did is something kind of smart. they basically placed on the ground right here, like a text trigger, over this entire ground. So, if you touch this ground at all, you will immediately be activated by a text box telling you, hey, you can't go here, you don't have the sword and shield. And it turns you around. However, when you get close to one of these, you know, the portal itself, it is a cutscene. And cutscenes can be activated in mid-air, which is where this really 5 of things goes into play. So the text box triggers on the ground. But a cutscene trigger extends into the air, so you can't jump over it or skip it or something. So this extends all the way here. Now, the developers thought, well, that's totally fine, because there's no way that Wolf Link, in some way, can jump over into this. But what you can do is, if you trick Hugo, this enemy, to go over here, what you can do is something really smart. You attack the enemy, and the enemy is gonna fall back a little bit, so it falls back here. Then, as Wolf Link, you do a jump attack. The jump attack will jump for the enemy, jump over him, and you will enter the cutscene trigger before you land on the ground. Now, yes, you will technically land on the ground, but this takes priority over the text trigger, meaning that you activate the cutscene trigger, then you land on the text trigger, but because you can use the A prompt to enter the next area through the cutscene trigger you entered, you can skip the text box altogether and go into the next area. And that is how you skip the sword and shield. It's one of the most difficult tricks in the game. Right here, you actually try and lose on purpose. This is an unbeatable fight on your first attempt because you don't have the Midna power-up yet to hold the B button to take them. So you actually on purpose knock down 2 so they scream, and then you go and manually pick up Midna. Really beautiful optimization right there. He only actually targeted 2 of them, but during the jump attack of the second one, he hit 2 in midair. Wait a second, does all dungeons have to collect these? Oh, in any percent, you actually skip the tier collecting for this first area. I feel like I'm gonna get depressed seeing how fast they're gonna collect these tiers though, Chad. Because I hated collecting the tiers when I played this game, so I think I'm gonna get very sad seeing how fast they can do it. Just look at the movement. Like, look at it. Isn't it awesome? Okay, that's actually really clever. My assumption, you see how he's killing them, but he's not picking up the tiers? If you killed a bug, but you didn't pick up the tier is gonna stay there the next time you come back. So my assumption is that because he's gonna run past those areas anyways later, instead of losing the 4 seconds to wait for the animation of the bug to fully die and the tier to go down, my assumption is that he is rather instead killing them so that the second time he comes back, he can just immediately pick up the tier to skip the little waiting period. He didn't even use Midna there. Okay, I'm sorry, but like, look at that. He didn't even use Midna jumps. Look at that. Normally use Midna jumps here. You get the prompt for it. He just does it manually. Like, that's all manual. That's so cool. And a triple kill, of course, with the big bugs too. He pushed the bug right there as well so that they were together so he could get the tier in just 1 jump instead of 2. What? What? Holy sh... Okay, right there, I'm assuming they manipulated the key, so the bats, because if you are targeting an enemy further away in this game, you can get something known as a long jump attack. It's going to be the main use for a glitch coming up later. So if you target an enemy that's further away from you, you do a longer jump attack than if you just, like, do a normal one. So right there, they manipulated the keys to be at the perfect distances so that they can do long jump attacks. So that instead of doing the slow, like, automatic jumps like this with Midna, look, he does a normal jump, 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 and he just barely escapes the fog. That's so cool. Right here, this is the area where normally you do early Master Sword. We usually don't do it that fast, but it is very cool. Let me explain the break slide now, okay? Chat, what you're looking at right now is footage of Windbreaker. So break sliding works the same in Windbreaker as Twilight Princess, okay? You see right here, it says speed 000. This is a break slide in Windbreaker, okay? What we're gonna do, right, is the player is gonna do a roll to get up to 22 units. And then he's gonna initiate a break slide. Do you see how his speed is 19.19? Now, look at the speed very carefully. Do you see how he's losing it incredibly slowly? Do you see how he ran that entire distance and he only lost 2 units of speed? He went from -19 to -17. That's the idea with brake sliding. Imagine that if you go on a flat surface, you have 10 units. If you go up like a surface that's sloped, you get 5 units, right? That means that if you start an animation to get a lot of speed on a flat surface, and then you initiate a brake slide, you're going to be losing your speed so incredibly little that you're basically maintaining the super high speed that you had initially going up the slope. I can't really explain it much further than that, but I hope that sort of makes sense. It basically is a method to try and preserve your speed better so that you can, in a much easier fashion, have faster movement. And you can see right there, it's a big surface. And right there, he jumps out of bounds, by the way, and he jumps into the forest where normally you would only have access to it after the first 3 dungeons, where you would find your Master Sword. Right here, oh, of course. So this is RNG manipulation. You see how everything he's breaking drops a rupee? This is something about this guy that's really weird, champ. So you might think you have to kill all of them, but that's not how it works. If you just take down a single one of them, after a couple of seconds, he will basically blow his bell and it will try and respawn more. In this case, just 1 more. So you take down 1, and then you go around, you pick up rupees, and right as he's about to pick up his little whistle to blow again, you attack him. Chad, I don't want to flex or anything, but I do this task strat in my runs. I'm practically a tool-assisted speedrun. Oh no, this run does actual RNG manipulation. Like, legitimately does RNG manipulation. There's a reason why it took over 200,000 re-recordings to do a run like this. They legitimately is trial and error, thousands of attempts to get perfect outcomes. I wouldn't say it's RNG manipulation. It's more banging your head against the wall thousands of times until you get the perfect outcome. It's basically brute forcing over and over and over again until they finally get the good outcome. I'm assuming now we're going to be picking up the tiers that earlier Bugs was killed, but didn't actually pick up the tiers for. Yeah, 2 easy tiers right there. He doesn't even barely touch them. Like, how does that even pick them up? What? Wait, excuse me, what? Huh? Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. Who needs a gate anyways? There is a gate clip that humans do later on in the run, and I guess it works the same way, because when you hit a gate and it's like swings back and forth like this, you can, with a really precise, usually we do side hops in RTA, jump in the middle of these swinging, and you can just barely clip through it. But obviously you wouldn't do for something like that, because it only saves like 4 seconds, but I guess a tool-assisted speedrun doesn't have to worry about that. Also, this might look really simple, just roll here and use the lantern. I will say, if you don't know exactly what you're doing there, that should not be that easy. Oh yeah, definitely have your notepads out, chat, and take notes. This might be on the test, so. That double kill is so hot. Another beautiful manipulation right there on those bugs. Oh, right here, I know what's going on. Okay, so right here, he's making a save file on save number 3. Right here, he's about to do a glitch known as back in time for something known as boss flags. It's a really cool trick. So, he's going to do the back in time glitch that he did earlier to get back onto the title screen right here. And he's going to void out as he presses A to go back into the title screen. He's then going to load save file number 2, which he saved in the first village. And the save point would be outside of Bo's house. That positioning, mixed with being in a title screen, puts you into this boss fight right here. By then soft resetting and pressing start as the cutscene starts for the boss, it's going to put you into this weird state where, in very simplified terms, the game now thinks that you're in a boss fight. That's the simple TLDR of everything you just did there. Right now, there's a flag in the game, basically a little like checkpoint, if you want to call it that. And the game thinks that he is in a boss fight. You're actually going to see in just 1 minute why that is useful. The fact that he's not killing any of these spiders, by the way, is terrifying me. You would never see this as a human. The amount of hours he probably just spent manipulating those goddamn spiders to not look your way is redonkulous. Right now, he opens his door. It's the first time. He's only gotten 1 monkey, right? Well, look. All the monkeys appear. Because he got that boss flag from earlier from doing that back in time glitch. And because the game thinks that he must be in a boss fight, the only way that in this dungeon you would have the boss flag trigger is if you have already gotten all the monkeys, so all the monkeys automatically spawn and you can immediately use them to go to the mini boss and get the Gale Boomerang early, skipping practically the entirety of the dungeon. Also, here's another RNG manipulation. It's RNG how many jumps this monkey jumps around these pillars. Yeah, you're just going to get the best outcome in all of these, I guarantee you. You're only going to get one jump. He's going to leave right now, but I think he's going to come back later because this is all dungeons after all. What? Also, right there, you saw he did a backflip immediately. This is actually a cutscene skip. That's a frame-perfect backflip right there. Right here, he's going to do a trick to escape the forest. Normally, you can't leave the forest until you have beaten the first dungeon. But by doing that little trick he just did right there, he can get out of it early. You can see that anytime this surface goes kind of upwards at all, so he would lose speed, he goes into brake sliding to maintain his speed better. Right here, this is actually a trick that we do as humans. We hit this fence and then we side hop. Okay, well, he's just going to be Giga Chad and just walk through it. But that is a trick that actually humans do, just much slower. And that allows us to enter this lake early. And this is usually done to enter lake bed early so that you can get the claw shot early. Right here, I'm assuming they're going to do pillar clip. Maybe not. Okay. Okay, okay, so normally a human would clip out on this pillar right here and swim into the loading zone. I guess what they do instead is basically frame perfect, pixel perfectly, pick up a rupee when you're literally on the edge pixel of falling off of a ledge. So they clip through the ground. Sure? Yeah, call me up whenever a human does that. What? I swear gates don't exist for tool-assisted speedruns. I swear they literally don't believe in gates. I usually say that walls are suggestions for speedrunners. For a tool-assisted speedrun, that is such cool movement. Did he just equip his iron boots there? That's so cool. He lands here at a higher ledge. He does a jump slash. He then rolls off this ledge, but because he gets a jump out of it, he doesn't want to actually be in the air. He equips his iron boots to kill his height, and then immediately gets a roll out of it. And just barely gets to the door without bonking. Wait, is he doing the boss key skip already? What? That sure is one hell of a way to get this character. Wow. I guess that's a few seconds faster than running around the room. Here, you can also see another thing. So, remember earlier how I mentioned that we had boss flags activated? The glitch that we did earlier with the back in time, so we could get all the monkeys and immediately start the mini-boss fight in the first dungeon. Because we still have that activated in the background of the game, by entering this and looking up, because the game thinks we're in the fight, we immediately activate this. Normally, you can't activate this boss fight from this entrance. You have to go through this tunnel to get that trigger for the boss flag. This is one of the only tricks that I'm assuming they're going to do that humans can do. This is known as a one cycle. It requires incredibly precise, close to frame perfect D inputs. Because if you do it with a perfect timing, you can just barely get enough hits in to get him in just one cycle. Greifhaken. That's my claw shot right there. Hey, it's Man Chicken. Yeah, so far we still haven't actually beaten a dungeon. We've done half of a dungeon and half of another dungeon. Right here, you can do a cool little, like, insta-kill. Basically, normally you can't be human here, but because he's human and he has iron boots, he can make this bird dive underneath the water, which automatically insta-kills the enemy that's riding on him, and it immediately activates the next part. You have to be careful not to be caught by him, though, because he will crash the game. Right here, there is an out-of-bounds clip that even humans do. Okay, they don't do it there. Normally, as a human, you fly a bit further, and there's two rocks you can kind of clip out of bounds on. I get right there, that big gap. I guess he's doing faster. You can also see that he keeps turning to the right. That's not because the tool-assisted speedrunner is Pepega. That's because the game tries to kind of help you and, like, nudge you in the right way, being like, you're doing great, buddy. This is the way to go. So it kind of has, like, a tiny bit of auto-steering. Not much. You still have to do 99% of yourself, but it has a tiny bit of auto-steering if you're going, like, way off. So he has to fight that a little bit. Right there, you see how he immediately did a jump and a side hop? That's actually a tech skip right there. Okay, this is different than what I'm used to from any percent. Usually here, you would work to the Goron area. Oh, wait, no, George Boy. No, we would go to the Goron area now. My bad. Okay, we're going to go back and we're going to save. Teleport Oko to go back to the water temple. Oh, we're going to back in time with a teleport. Oh. And we're going to go to this fight. Wait, we're actually going to do the fight? With a claw shot? What? He doesn't have the bow. Oh, it puts you faster to Kakariko. Basically what he did is by activating this guy, he can do a glitch zone is back in time. So he does a soft reset on a very specific frame as he's voiding out here. Normally, when you do a soft reset, you get put back to the title screen and you can't control Link. But if you do it on the correct frame, as you're supposed to void in from a teleport, you have access over Link. He then voids out in the title screen at the same time as he presses A to choose a file. He selects his actual main file, so he has all the items that he's supposed to have, but he's instead on Hyrule Field, where this boss fight takes place. He takes down the boss by, I'm assuming, incredible precision, as humans don't do it with the claw shot. And this, when you beat him, puts you back into basically Kakariko,